Hello viewers, this edition of Kerala This Week begins with a story of national pride that has a strong Kerala connection. I'm talking of INSV Kaundinya, a 19.6 meter long vessel constructed using ancient Indian shipbuilding techniques. The engineless ship, built without nails and stitched together with coir ropes, is currently on its maiden voyage from Porbandar in Gujarat to Muscat in Oman. The vessel was crafted by a team of skilled carpenters from Malabar. The master shipwright is Babu Shankaran from Vacate, and much of the high-quality wood and coir used in its construction came from Kerala.
This is a story of a very unusual Indian Navy mission. A ship built just using wood, rope and wind. No engine, no fuel, no metal nails. The ship is called INSV Codinya. It is currently about 880 nautical miles from Muscat, Oman. The ship left Porbandar on December 29, 2025 and is now on the final stretch of its first journey. But the story of INSV Codinya does not begin at sea, it begins in Kerala. The hull was built by a traditional shipbuilding team led by master shipwright Babu Shankaran of Vacate, one of the few remaining experts in stitched ship construction. He has also worked on the Jewel of Muscat, a reconstructed historic ship built in Oman. INS Codinya was built using Kerala's traditional shipbuilding knowledge carried forward by craftsmen from the Kerala coast. Techniques that predate engines and steel. Kerala supplied the hands, the wood and the skill that made this vessel possible. Karimaritha wood for the keel, jackfruit and Malabar kino for the frames, teak for the masts and coconut fiber coir rape spun and treated in coastal workshops using traditional methods. But more than materials, Kerala supplied living knowledge. How to steam and bend planks without cracking them, how tight a stitch should be, and how a sewn hull moves with waves instead of resisting them. Now what's striking is that this knowledge never disappeared. It still survives in places like Bepur, where large wooden Uru vessels are still built today. INS Codinya comes directly from that tradition. Now let's look at the ship. INS Codinya is about 20 meters long, nearly 6.5 meters wide and carries 16 naval crew members. Every plank is joined using coconut fiber coir rope. The seams are packed with cotton and sealed with natural resin, fish oil and limestone paste. There is no metal in the hull's main structure. This construction allows the hull to flex with waves, which is a crucial advantage in open sea. The ship moves only by wind, using two square sails and is steered with large wooden oars. GPS and radio are carried only as safety backups. The voyage itself depends on winds, currents and human judgment. The design comes from a 5th century painting in the Ajanta caves. For years, historians debated whether such ships actually existed. INSV Codinya is now answering that question on the water. The journey has had both quiet stretches and demanding days at sea and moments that felt magical. Economist Sanjay Sanyal, a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, is sailing on board and has been sharing updates from the deck. He describes long stretches of glassy sea where the ship drifted quietly with the current. Light winds pushed it forward just 1 or 2 knots. Food had to be rationed, and there were also moments of rough weather with rolling seas, hard work on the rigging, and nights with little sleep. At other times, the view turned magical. On one night, he says, a bright moonrise lit the sea like a sunrise. The project was formalized in 2023 by the Ministry of Culture, the Indian Navy, and Hodi Innovations. The build was validated by IIT Madras and the Indian Register of Shipping. Engineers suggested only minor safety changes, including a wider beam and adjusted ballast without altering the traditional method. INSV Codinya is proving that India's maritime knowledge did not just vanish. It survived along the Kerala coast and today it is crossing the ocean once again.
Preparations for the upcoming assembly elections have begun in full swing. The CPM-led LDF, which currently has 97 MLAs, aims to increase its tally to 110 out of the 140 seats. The NDA has dubbed its target Mission 40, while the Congress is talking about securing 100 plus seats. This is also the season of defections by seat aspirants. One senior politician, whom many called a fence-sitter, has now made his stand clear. And it's a huge relief for the Congress party. Yes, we are talking about Shashi Tharoor. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor appears to be bridging long-standing differences with the party's leadership, signalling readiness to unite for the UDF's comeback bid in the upcoming assembly elections. Sources within the Congress reveal that Tharoor, the four-time Thiruvananthapuram Lok Sabha member, is moving closer to the organizational mainstream in both Kerala and Delhi. Exploratory discussions are underway at the high command level about a potential larger role for him, including a cabinet rank position should the UDF return to power. While no formal decisions have been made, senior leaders are actively working to restore cohesion in the state unit. These sensitive consultations come against a backdrop of past tensions, where Tharoor's independent views on issues like national security, the economy, and even praise for certain government policies had sparked backlash, fueling rumors of a possible shift to the BJP. Yet recent actions paint a picture of reconciliation. Tharoor attended the Congress Working Committee meeting in Delhi on December 27 and actively participated in the two-day KPCC Leadership Summit, Lakshya 2026 in Sultan Bathery. There, he engaged warmly with state leaders, including opposition leader V.D. Satheesan. Speaking to reporters post-summit, Tharoor firmly dispelled rumors of rifts within the party.
പാർട്ടി എൻ്റെ ഒപ്പം എപ്പോഴും നിൽക്കണമെന്ന് തന്നെ എൻ്റെ വിശ്വാസമായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ എന്താ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട്? ഞാൻ പാർട്ടി ലൈൻ വിട്ടു എന്ന് ആരാ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നതാണ് ചോദ്യം. കാരണം നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാമല്ലോ, ഏത് വിഷയത്തിലും ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ അഭിപ്രായം പറഞ്ഞാൽ കൂടി ചില ബേസിക് വിഷയങ്ങളുടെ ഇടയിൽ ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു മാറ്റം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. പാർട്ടിയും ഞാനും ഓരോരോ വിഷയങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ഭൂരിപക്ഷം വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ എപ്പോഴും ഒന്നെ ആയിരുന്നു. എല്ലാവരും ഒരു ഹെഡ്ലൈൻ മാത്രം കണ്ടിട്ടാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ കമൻറ്റ് അടിക്കുന്നത്. അതോടെ വലിയ വിവാദമായ ആൾക്കാർ മനസ്സ് മാറും. ഞാൻ എഴുതിയ കാര്യങ്ങളോ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങളോ ശ്രദ്ധ വെച്ച് കേട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ഒറിജിനൽ മനസ്സിലാക്കിയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, ഈ വിവാദങ്ങളുടെ ആവശ്യമുണ്ടാവില്ല.
He ruled himself out of the chief ministerial race. Party sources say Rahul Gandhi and Kharge have encouraged his active involvement in the campaign, leveraging his popularity among urban voters, youth and upper classes to bolster the front. As Kerala braces for a triangular contest with the LDF and NDA, Tharoor's re-engagement is seen as a morale booster as the UDF eyes over 100 seats. In a strategic political decision ahead of the assembly elections, Vatiyukavu CPM MLA Vacate Prasanth has announced that he will vacate his office in the Sasthamangalam Corporation building and he will shift to a new location. Better late than never, because up against him was retired IPS officer and BJP Councillor Sreelekha, who had demanded that he vacate the space and was turning it into a major political issue.
In a carefully crafted political move, Vatiyukavu MLA Vacate Prasanth has announced he is vacating his long-held office in the Sasthamangalam Corporation building. This is amidst a bitter spat with BJP Councillor and retired IPS officer Sreelekha. This controversy, dubbed by some as a board war, highlights the intensifying turf battles ahead of the upcoming assembly elections. The fight ignited when Sreelekha, freshly elected from the Sasthamangalam ward, made a phone call to Prasanth demanding he vacate the rented space that belongs to the corporation. Citing severe space constraints in her councillor's office, where files and even an almirah were reportedly stashed in a toilet. She framed it as a friendly request based on their long-lasting rapport, calling Prasanth like a brother. But Prasanth, popularly known as Mayor Bro from his tenure as Thiruvananthapuram's mayor, shot back, labeling the demand inappropriate and politically motivated. He argued that the office, operational for over 7 years with no prior complaints, served hundreds of people with his assembly constituency. Tensions boiled over when Sreelekha installed her name board prominently above Prasanth's signage, a symbolic act that went viral on social media and drew sharp criticism. The low monthly rent of just 872 rupees emerged as a flashpoint, with BJP leaders slamming it as a revenue loss for the corporation and calling for a review of all such leases. Sources say Prasanth's decision to relocate was heavily influenced by fears of public backlash, snowballing into an election liability. With assembly polls looming, CPM leadership reportedly urged him to defuse the row, worried that the rent scandal could tarnish his clean image in what you recover, a seat where BJP made significant gains in recent local polls.
The ruling LDF has launched what the Congress calls a desperate political assault on its most prominent face, Leader of Opposition V.D. Satheesan. Why now? That's a big question surrounding the sudden resurfacing of a vigilance recommendation for a CBI probe into alleged FCRA violations linked to Satheesan's 2018 flood relief initiative, Punarjani.
Picture this. August 2018, Kerala is underwater. Homes destroyed, lives shattered, nearly 500 dead. And in the midst of this tragedy, Congress MLA named V.D. Satheesan launches a noble mission called Punarjani, meaning rebirth. He promises to build homes for 280 flood-affected families. Fast forward to January 2026. That same MLA, now the leader of opposition, faces a CBI probe recommendation. The charge, illegal foreign fundraising. The timing, just before Kerala votes. Coincidence? Let's dive in. October 2018, 2 months after the floods, Satheesan flies to Birmingham, UK. He's at a lunch meeting with expatriate Malayalis, RNRIs who always steps up when Kerala needs them. The pitch is simple. Donate £500 each to rebuild homes back home. The response? Overwhelming. £22,500 collected. That's nearly 20 lakh rupees. Feel good story, right? Here's where it gets interesting. That money doesn't come directly to Kerala. It flows through a UK charity called Midland International Aid Trust and then lands in something called an FCRA account, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act account, belonging to the Manapata Foundation, a Kochi-based NGO run by businessman Amir Ahmed. Now, India has strict rules about foreign money. You can't just ask for foreign donations as a politician. That's illegal under FCRA. And here's what the investigators found. Over 4 years, rupees 1.22 crores hit the Manapata Foundation's FCRA account. Another rupees 1.27 crores came through other channels for Punarjani. That's nearly 2.5 crores rupees total. But here's the kicker. The Vigilance Bureau says records weren't maintained properly. Money flowed in, houses got built, but the paperwork trail, murky. And then there's this detail that should make your eyebrows rise. The Vigilance report mentions an unholy nexus and conspiracy between Satheesan and the Manapad Foundation. Strong words from bureaucrats who usually speak in diplomatic language. There is no charge that Satheesan personally pocketed money. In fact, Vigilance probes found no evidence of funds entering into his personal accounts. Now let's talk timing, because in politics, timing is everything. A complaint was filed way back in 2020 by a local activist. The CM approved an investigation in June 2023. The former Vigilance chief recommended a CBI probe, but here's the twist. That recommendation was made nearly a year ago. So why does it become public now, January 2026? Kerala elections are just 3 to 4 months away. V.D. Satheesan isn't just any politician. He's the opposition leader, the face of Congress in Kerala. The man expected to lead the charge against Pinarayi Vijayan's left-front government. And suddenly, he's fighting allegations of foreign funding violations and corruption. One thing is certain, this April and May, when Kerala votes, the Punarjani case will be front and center. The floods of 2018 reshaped Kerala's landscape. Punarjani case of 2026 might just reshape its political landscape.
We are all familiar with the classic comic trope in Malayalam movies where a character arranges for a girl's item, such as a chain or a handbag, to be stolen first, only to heroically recover it and impress her. A similar real-life attempt by two young men in Pathanamthitta ended in a tragic-comic fashion.
In a story that sounds more like a misplaced Bollywood script than real life, police in Pathanamthitta, Kerala have arrested two young men for staging a road accident, all in a desperate bid to play hero and win the heart of a woman's family. 24-year-old Ranjit Rajan from Mamuda near Konni and his 19-year-old friend Ajaz from Payyanaman orchestrated the dramatic plot. The woman, Ranjit's estranged girlfriend, was riding a scooter home when Ajaz deliberately rammed her vehicle with a car on Ranjit's instructions and then sped away. Moments later, Ranjit arrived in another car, introduced himself to shocked bystanders as the woman's husband, comforted everyone and heroically rushed her to the hospital. The plan? To spark fear, then gratitude, hoping it would soften her family's heart and reunite the couple. Unfortunately for the would-be Romeo, the script fell apart quickly. The woman suffered a dislocated right wrist and a fractured finger. Police grew suspicious over Ranjit's perfectly timed rescue and traced phone records to the fleeing car, unraveling the entire conspiracy.
ഇത് ആദ്യമേ നമുക്ക് ഈ ആക്സിഡൻറ്റ് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഈ പെൺകുട്ടി സംശയം പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ ആളെ വിളിച്ചു വരുത്തിയിരുന്നു. ആ ഒരു സമയത്ത് ഇയാൾ കുറ്റവും സമ്മതിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോഴേക്കും പെൺകുട്ടിയോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയും അവർ വീട്ടുകാരോട് സംസാരിച്ച് കേസ് ഒത്തുതീർപ്പാക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമം നടന്നായിരുന്നു.
Authorities have charged both men with attempted murder. Their idea to manipulate emotions through a fake crash caused serious harm and could have ended in tragedy. Clearly, flowers or a simple apology might have been a safer bet.
We all know about Malayali's love for gold, but did you know that it's not just about buying or hoarding gold? It's also about literally mining for it. Yes, you heard it right. Kerala has a unique spot where people sift river sand for tiny specks of gold. That is along the banks of the Chalia River in Nilambur. The British tried this about 200 years ago during the colonial era, but with no major success. Yet even today, people are still trying.
In Nilambur this week, forest officers caught 7 local men right on the banks of the Chalia River. They were hunting for gold. With motor pumps and special filters, they were extracting river sand and sifting for tiny specks of gold. The men were arrested, their equipment seized. Let's hear from Forest Range Officer P. Suraj.
സ്വർണ്ണക്കടത്തുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് നിലമ്പൂർ റേഞ്ചിൽ കേസെടുത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നല്ലൊരു കേസെടുത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കേസെടുത്ത് തൊണ്ടിയും ബാക്കിയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഹാജരാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് റേഞ്ചിൽ തുടരന്വേഷണം ശക്തമാക്കാനാണ് നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്.
Why now? Why this river? The answer takes us back almost 200 years. The Chaliar has gold in its sands. Tribal communities knew this for centuries. They panned the waters with simple tools, finding small nuggets. In 1827, the British confirmed gold deposits in the hills and Nilgiris. European newspapers called it the Malabar Gold Mania. But they never found enough gold to make it profitable. By 1892, the companies that came looking for gold closed shop. The Malabar gold rush was over. But the gold never vanished. Tiny traces remained in the river sand. Local tried quietly over the years. But now, gold prices are at record highs. One sovereign topping over 1 lakh this week. A new minor mineral district survey report hints at significant deposits in the Nilambur basin. 0.55 million tons of gold bearing ore in Maruta alone, plus alluvial gold in the Chalia tributaries. Suddenly, even small specks are worth the huge risk.
Malayalis consume roughly 7 to 8 kilograms of beef per person annually. That's our per capita beef consumption. However, due to better affordability and availability, many now prefer chicken over beef. If the data is to be believed, Kerala consumed a staggering 32 lakh kilograms of chicken on New Year's Eve alone in just one day. Let's now hear from viewers of 24 International about the chicken dishes they tried this New Year.
My dad cooks well the chicken stew, so I had a great chicken stew in the morning, and for lunch I had, I think, chore, chicken curry and beef roast, and for dinner we had from my uncle's house chicken pizza.
ചിക്കൻ കുത്തറോട്ട.
I had chicken biryani for New Year.
രാവിലെ മന്തി കഴിച്ചു, പിന്നെ ഉച്ചയ്ക്ക് അത് മന്തി തന്നെ. രാത്രി കുറച്ച് വെറൈറ്റി ആവാൻ വേണ്ടി കുറച്ചൊരു ജ്യൂസ് അടിച്ചു കുടിച്ച് വീട്ടിൽ പോയി കിടന്നിറങ്ങി അത്ര.
So we had tandoori chicken. That is the only thing was available at night. Yeah.
നമ്മൾ അൽഫാം ഉണ്ടാക്കി, എല്ലാവരും കൂട്ടുകാരന്മാരായിട്ട് നിന്ന് അപ്പോൾ അൽഫാം ഉണ്ടാക്കി. പിന്നെ രാത്രി കബാബൊക്കെ വാങ്ങിച്ചു, പുറത്തുനിന്ന് അയച്ചത് ഷീഷ് കബാബ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന സംഭവം പുറത്തുനിന്ന് അയച്ചത്.
ചിക്കൻ 65 ബിരിയാണി.
പറഞ്ഞാൽ രാവിലെ ഒന്നും കഴിച്ചില്ല, ഉച്ചക്ക് ചിക്കൻ ബിരിയാണി കഴിച്ചു, വൈകിട്ട് പൊറോട്ട, ചില്ലി ചിക്കൻ, ബട്ടർ ചിക്കൻ, പിന്നെ ചിക്കൻ ടിക്ക, അങ്ങനത്തെ എന്തോ ചിക്കനായിരുന്നു.
So for New Year's, ഞങ്ങളുടെ family full we were there over. From morning we had appam, chicken stew. For lunch, as starters, we had chicken lollipop, chicken salad, Caesar salad was there. Of course, chicken biryani. We had chicken vartiyadu, tenga curry, all that. Dinner, we had roasted chicken and alfam. That was what we had.
From Christmas feast to New Year treats, it seems the entire district came together over a shared love for chicken this season. Whether you helped contribute to those 31 lakh kilograms or opted for a quiet meal at home, the spirit of celebration is all about that one perfect bite. What about you? Are you part of the statistic or sticking to the classics? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep eating. This is Amita signing off.
Viewers, on that note, we wrap this edition of Kerala This Week. See you next Friday. Don't forget to show your support by subscribing to 24 International on YouTube and sharing the channel with your friends and family. I am Ebi Tharagan signing off for now. Keep watching 24 International.